It's hard to believe, but what you're seeing right now is not real life footage from a camera. It's actually gameplay from an Unreal Engine 5 video game called Unrecord.
Everybody, whenever I showed this, thought that it was actually real, and people insisted that it was not a video game and that it was fake.
Currently in development from a new independent studio. This video has taken the gaming internet by storm in the last few days. Many people blown away by the visual fidelity.
People thought it's fake.
And others claiming that it's all fake or pre-rendered. So today, I'm going to dive in and take a look at this, tell you a bit about the game, and get to the bottom of it all.
Okay.
So the buzz for this actually started back in October 2022. Alexandre Spidler, who is creative director and lead programmer on this new project, released a video on Twitter saying simply, "I'm working on a body cam style game," with a few hashtags thrown in for good measure.
Okay.
And in that 45-second video,
like 6 months ago,
we see what looks like body cam footage of a person holding a gun, moving through a dilapidated environment, and taking down a few baddies along the way.
Basically the same game.
The quality of the clip is awful, as it's on Twitter, and only in 720p resolution. But I think that actually helps it in a way, and it would be easy at a glance to mistake this for real life footage. The environment was a shared Unreal Engine asset, but the camera style mixed with the animations made this look incredibly believable. So it sparked up some discussion, and then
I think it's also like the camera work and shit like that, and like the way that the way it has kind of like that fisheye lens on the edges. I think that's also what makes it way more compelling.
It was radio silence for months until we skip to April 19th, 2023, a couple days ago, and Alexandre released a new video. This time it was on YouTube in 1440p 60 FPS quality, alongside a press release packed full of information and announcing the name of the game as Unrecord.
Yeah, and
as you can see, this has to be one of the most realistic looking games ever. There's no doubt about it for me. And I think there's a few reasons for that. The main reason is that this isn't simulating what seeing through humans' eyes would look like. In fact, it's simulating what body camera footage looks like. The barrel distortion in the
I think that's actually very good insight. That because people are so used to seeing body cams, this is in fact all they really need to do is simulate a body cam, not simulate what person would really see.
As if it were a lens.
So you're simulating a simulation.
The chromatic aberration, the shakiness, even the position of the gun and the hands. It's very unconventional for a first-person shooter, of course, but you pair that up with the excellent animation of the hands and the pistol, and you end up with something very convincing. Unreal Engine 5 is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here as well, adding in accurate lighting, textures, and what appears to be ray tracing on the puddles and shiny surfaces. You may have noticed too that the faces of the combatants are pixelated and blurred. This is obviously a choice that the developers have made, and it leans into the body cam narrative.
Well, yeah, it's because like to hide their identities. Absolutely.
More importantly, it solves a big problem that might make the game look less realistic, because as human beings, we're all very good at noticing when a face looks weird or fake, and video game...
That's actually a really good point, yeah. Like, you don't have to worry about designing the faces for the characters if they're all pixelated, and that way you never have to deal with that issue. Yeah, that's really smart.
Faces, as much as they have improved, are still not photorealistic, especially when animated. But in this case, that is irrelevant because you can't see the faces, and that helps sell the overall image. Still, many people online were skeptical about this game.
Yeah, they thought it was fake.
Didn't believe that the video was real, rather a pre-rendered sequence.
A lot of my viewers thought the same thing.
Or in fact, a real video that's been filtered or doctored in some way. And so to prove it, the lead developer posted a new video showing the game running in the Unreal Engine editor. He flies a free camera around the environment to begin.
Look
and then
at
he hits play and drops into the game, controlling the character, checking the pistol with the same animations, looking around and firing it off in different directions. He then flies to another area from the latest video and does the same thing, again in a different fashion, checks his ammo and goes into free cam again. So it does appear that this is in fact real, and this new video put many doubts to bed, but still a lot of questions remained.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is it's pre-recorded. Nah, bro, they had the guy go out there and just shoot the gun randomly at the same place, and then they recorded it, and then they this is Photoshop on top of the fucking. This is a separate layer. It's like fucking Sony Vegas fake bullshit.
So what is Unrecord then? What is this game? Well, as I mentioned, there was a press package that went out, and I'll take you through the key details now. At the moment, you can only wishlist the game on Steam with an unannounced release date, but it is not expected to be released this year. In fact, the developers are still seeking publishers and investors to support the studio. I'm sure that they'll have a lot more interest now.
Oh,
the game is
everybody's
pitched as a tactical first-person shooter where players can expect an immersive and narrative experience featuring complex dialogues, innovative gameplay mechanics, tough moral dilemmas, and a unique shooting system. The storyline can be compared to a detective novel or a thriller, where the player will have to investigate several criminal cases and confront a diverse cast of characters. The game's plot and presentation will be central to the gameplay experience, and players can anticipate a range of gameplay sequences as well as numerous plot twists.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, home invasion. We love that.
In terms of the moment-to-moment gameplay, Unrecord features an original aiming system, and they claim this as a free aiming system with authentic aim down sight and unrestricted hand movements.
Okay.
And having watched the footage several times, this...
I mean, it looks pretty fucking good. I think that, like, really one thing that everybody has said about this game, there are people that were upset because they said the game is too realistic. It's going to be just like shooting real people, you know?
This is the biggest question mark for me, because usually in a first-person shooter game, the weapon and hands are in the bottom right, and when you press a button to aim, everything moves to the center of the screen nice and steady, so you can use the sight of the weapon to effectively aim at what's in the middle of your screen. But Unrecord is doing things a bit differently with the shaky movement and animation, so it seems it would be quite difficult to aim precisely at something. However, I am super interested to get hands-on with this and get a feel for exactly how it works, because this is at least something different that we haven't really seen before, or I haven't anyway. But perhaps there will be an element of aim assist or a generous hit zone if you're rough.
I think there's probably going to be a hit zone. Like, not like Doom, for example, but like in general, it's, I mean, this is not meant to be like Dark Souls, probably. It's just an experience type game.
In the correct position with your gun when aiming at a target, so I would love to hear more about how that's going to function. Moving on, the game features die and retry combat with a technical and minimalist approach, no room for errors. It's up to you to develop your own tactics. I assume there's going to be gear that you can use too, like flashbangs and grenades. You'll also be making dialogue choices that impact your experience, even during combat. We see this a couple times in the video, multiple choices at one point, so perhaps what you choose there can potentially de-escalate or aggravate a situation, even offer multiple choices and potentially side objectives or ways to complete a mission. The devs have responded to a few interesting frequently asked questions too. One of them related to motion sickness for people who are prone to that but might want to play this game. They said that they're working on implementing options and settings to adjust camera movement, effects, and accessibility options.
That's good. Yeah, I don't get that with games. I never have, but I could imagine if you do, it would be like really unpleasant to have to deal with it. Let's see here. I'll be right back. I need to use the bathroom. We're already talking about gameplay. This isn't a gameplay game. It's just like an experiential game. It's like, what would it be like, you know? It's like talking about the gameplay in like the Stanley Parable.
To make the game more comfortable to play for all. Naturally, console gamers have been keen to know if this game will be released on Xbox or PlayStation. Their reply was that currently the game runs smoothly with both keyboard and controller. We don't see any issues porting to consoles. However, we haven't yet decided on the specific platforms and consoles for release, but we will keep you updated during development. Unfortunately, it is not a VR game, so I guess that there were a lot of people who, when they saw this for the first time, went, oh, I'd love to try that on my Oculus or my PlayStation VR 2. It's not a VR game, so I don't think
I'm sure they'll have VR games like this soon enough.
to come to those platforms. And then
Does feel
finally,
like a
in
VR game?
regards
Yeah, I
to
could see that.
optimization, surely you need a monster PC to play the game looking this good, right? Well, in the FAQ, their response was that we see no issue in following an optimization process, and we cannot guarantee a perfectly optimized game, as it would be presumptuous given the challenges that ambitious studios face today.
Yeah, I
But
think
we
that
will
makes
meet the
sense.
expectations of gamers and deliver accordingly. However, it is possible that older generations of PCs may not have sufficient performance to fully enjoy a next-gen game powered by Unreal Engine 5.
That makes
So it might be
sense.
time to upgrade your PC if you have the luxury of being able to do that. And that's about all for today, folks. Do let me know your thoughts
Yeah,
on
hopefully they have it on consoles too. That way the people that can't afford a PC are still able to do it.
this down in the comments below and drop a like to help support me. Thank you. I'm going to keep a close eye on this one, as it looks like it has the potential to offer a unique angle in the FPS market, and you know what?
I think so,
you
for
just
sure.
don't see that much anymore. Also, it's great to see so many indie studios building games that are making big splashes, and I'd put money on there being a body cam section in the next modern Call of Duty single player campaign. It's coming. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
I don't know if they would want to do that. I think that with a lot of people, like, one of the things that happened with this game is that people got upset because they said it was too realistic, and people would use it to, like, simulate
I'm gonna
like
keep it
killing people or like police brutality or something like that. So I think Call of Duty might try to avoid that because they'd be worried that, you know, there'd just be like weird stuff about that. Who cares? I don't think it matters at all. I really think the people that get upset about that are just stupid and delusional. I don't think they're worth taking seriously at all. But the problem is that a lot of these companies don't really have like the same outlook on you know, like losers on the internet being mad about something. Like whenever somebody's upset about some shit like this, it just doesn't really matter. Like, okay, you're mad, like who cares? But companies don't really see that because the people that run their marketing don't really get that there's not a correlation between angry Twitter users and users, like people that buy the game. So yeah, that's about it. Ignore the snowflakes. Oh, exactly. Definitely. Edgy people are going to be edgy anyway. Yeah, exactly. And also, like, games like this and stuff like this, it's going to happen more anyway. So even if you try to block the first one, there's always going to be a second one, and then it becomes easier to make, and then everybody can make it, and then you can't block all of them. So that's just what happens. And PC's better. Most anti-cheat sucks on PC. I think this is going to basically just be a single-player game, man. I don't think there's going to be a lot of anti-cheat or any need for it. People have been blaming video games for shootings forever. Yeah, I mean, obviously people always look for something to blame. Yeah, it's whatever. Country is run by snowflakes might get banned here. Well, I have no idea. It's hard to say. But yeah, people are already arguing about how you're playing a cop. Well, there's a lot of people that just don't like cops, right? Like, that's it. And so, like, anytime that they see a game that's about a police officer or something like that, they're going to freak out about it because they don't like cops. That's it, right? I mean, there's not a lot of nuance to it at all. Something wrong with the pushback of the game made it past Twitter to mainstream media. Yeah, but like mainstream media doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. Is like if mainstream media negative attention mattered, then all the like things about how Grand Theft Auto and World of Warcraft and Fortnite are like destroying kids' lives, well, then it would have negatively affected the game. But it didn't, because this stuff doesn't really matter. There's not a lot of people that, like, I think less people pay attention to mainstream media than pay attention to alternative media. Like, and also the people that are paying attention to mainstream media are usually way older, not even the audience for a game like this to begin with. So it doesn't really make sense. My media tried to cancel Hogwarts, but it broke their projected records. Well, I don't think that was really main media. I think that was just a few activists that work at gaming publications and, you know, Twitter users that are under-medicated. That's about it. Yeah, that was really just Twitter. Once new GTA comes out, the game's to blame for the next decade of shootings. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I don't think that kind of stuff is really relevant at all. People are going to play what they're going to play. They're going to like what they're going to like, and everything else doesn't really matter. So yeah,